So like we said, baseball is done. We do have our friend here again, Nick. Nick, say hello.
Hi, everybody.
Try to sound happy. So Nick,
slightly depressed.
Yeah, Nick had a rough. I mean, it wasn't even that. It was like a rough postseason.
It wasn't
Obviously,
rough.
the Yankees got there. You got to go to a game, but
got to see Volpe's grand slam. That's pretty freaking cool.
Well, and didn't you see Aaron Judge hit a home run in
I
Game 5?
I went to both Game 4 and 5.
Yeah.
It was very memorable, and don't regret a single minute of it.
Yeah, and I think like we kind of talked off.
Just
camera.
getting the chance to
That's
go
what
to
I
a
was gonna
World
say.
Series
Like,
game, I'm like,
we could go, but it's
Yeah.
not when it's for your team. So I think that obviously, would I say the Yankees are a little bit spoiled? Sure, because you guys do typically have a competitive team each year, no matter what. But it is still something that not everyone gets to see. So I do think that's cool. Whether it's because you can't afford it, or because the team just sucks, or whatever the reason
if
is.
you're a Mariners fan, it's just
you
never
had
get
that
the
opportunity,
chance.
which is cool. Obviously, like I said, did not go your way. We haven't even talked about the World Series, I don't think, 'cause we missed.
We just did the preview, and then we had a couple of things come up. So.
Yeah, so we all previewed. I believe you guys both had the Yankees winning originally, and then you both said that you thought they would still win. Correctly?
Yes.
Correct.
So, and I was the only one that had the Dodgers, so get wrecked.
Yeah. A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while.
Yeah,
so.
it does. And I found a massive one.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Sam.
Just found the biggest nut I could find.
Yeah.
It was a good series,
Honestly,
but it wasn't what I think expected.
I didn't watch a lot of it because I was gone, but when you look at the box scores, it was actually a lot closer than the game seemed.
That's what I mean. Like the games were actually, they kept you intrigued literally besides Game 4.
I think it's just because the Dodgers
exploded.
kept winning. That's why it didn't seem like it was a good series.
Yeah.
But the overall games themselves, like individually, were actually pretty good.
Well, and I feel like we were all teased right away off of Game 1.
Yeah.
Game 1 was so sick.
Walk-off grand
Just a walk-off grand slam. I'm really curious for you, Nick. Why do you think, and obviously hindsight's 2020 now, but why does Cortez even see the field? He hasn't pitched in a month, and you just throw him out there one time. He doesn't even pitch any else of the series. That's literally like his only, whatever it was, 10 pitches or whatever he threw. Why?
Kellen, and I'm going to give us a Yankees little talk here real quick.
Go for it.
I'm going to vent. It's going to be a part of it. And you, my friend, I love you, bud. And you just hit the nail on the head.
I cut open a wound.
It is the question I asked myself. And I'm going to preface all of it. I'm going to preface all of it with, I love Nestor Cortez.
Yeah.
He is a Broward County guy, Miami, Hialeah, that he's from down there. I have his autograph ball sitting on my desk. I am a huge Nestor fan. And I love him, and I thought he was supposed to be on that roster. He had not thrown a ball in the entire postseason. He had not thrown a ball
it was a month or something like that.
It had been the entire month of October. He had
Yeah.
not thrown a ball. In all situations, he pitched twice in the postseason. That first instance, that is a Tim Hill instance. As a Yankee fan, when I saw that they had both of them up, I'm like, oh, Nestor's just throwing in the pen because he hasn't thrown, so he needs to get in some work. He's just throwing to mess with the Dodgers, make them think, oh, maybe Nestor's coming in. And they also had Tim Hill up, who pitched fantastic in the Guardians series.
Yep, super
And
good.
so in my head, and most Yankees fans' heads, Tim Hill's coming in, and that's that.
Yeah.
Instead, Aaron Boone. I could have put an expletive in there. He has mismanaged this team multiple times. And game 1, it is all on Aaron Boone, in my opinion.
I agree.
Not only did you go ahead and pull Garrett Cole at
I
88
agree.
pitches, throwing a great game, you're going to go to the bullpen early when he's throwing 88. Hasn't even thrown 90 pitches. This guy's throwing regular season games where he's thrown over 100.
Easily.
You're pulling him, he's not even at 90.
Yep.
You know you need to preserve your bullpen for the longevity of this postseason.
Yep.
But no, we're going to go to our bullpen early. Then we get in trouble. Guess what? We've used our guys. Yep. Now, this is a great idea. Nestor Cortez has fantastic numbers against Shohei Ohtani. Going into the postseason, Nestor was put onto this roster to face Shohei Ohtani.
100%. Sure.
That is why Puppet Man Boone went with it. The statistic nerds that are behind him said, Nestor pitches fantastic against Ohtani. We know that, and I acknowledge that. It's a fact. That is, and I understand that. But you need to have a feel of the game and to go against the nerds and say, no, this is game on the line, game one of the World Series. I'm going to my reliever has proved it over and over.
Sure.
It's foreshadowing. I think it's game 2 or 3. No, it's another game, whatever. Same situation. He goes to Tim Hill.
Yeah, he went to Tim Hill in game in both the next 2 games, but I think it was Tim Hill after Cousins was game 3.
And he does exactly what he needs to do. Yep. And as a Yankee fan, as soon as you brought him in, I thought he got out of it, and then when Freddie was up, first pitch, I mean,
he just yanked it.
And
it was crushed.
And I, as a Yankee fan, was trying to be optimistic. I said, I see hope.
Yeah.
But I said going in, the Yankees must win one of the first 2 games.
You did say that. Yeah, you did.
And right when we blew that game, that was it. That was our game to win. Game 2, we can talk about whatever. It was a great game. I can't even be mad at anything in game 2 because I'm so annoyed at the way game 1 was managed.
Well, and it's so weird, like you said, because you've had, like, the bullpen hasn't been, I wouldn't say, like, amazing, but they've been
really good.
Totally serviceable.
You're overusing the bullpen.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is, I was talking to Sam about this before the podcast. Weaver was unbelievable, but he literally pitched way too much. And I get it, it's like, it's the postseason, you have to kind of go for it, but you also still have to realize that, like, you didn't get here because Weaver was this. He didn't get every out every game. Your same comment where I was going to ask you with Garrett Cole. He only threw 88 pitches in game 1. Game 4, I think, is what it was. The one he won, was it game 3 or 4?
It should have been
5. Oh,
was it 5?
He started. He was on the mound during the.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I go back to game 1. I said the series is over.
Yep.
I'm a pessimist. I admit it, but. I had hope, but I said game 1, the way this game is managed, this is the way that we're going to play and be managed this entire World Series. We're going to do the same thing we've done all year. No surprise.
Yeah.
This is it. And game 4 was beautiful.
Yeah.
Game 4 was beautiful because the bats did what they were supposed to.
Yeah, that's what
I was guess what? The Dodgers were punting game 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Dodgers went with the bullpen game.
Yep.
We were supposed to win game 4.
100%.
Then you come out game 5. Garrett Cole has a no-hitter through 5 innings.
This is what I was going to say.
He has a no-hitter through 5 innings. Throw away Aaron Judge's error. Throw away.
It's hard to throw that away, but yes.
Just let me finish.
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead. Yep.
And then we can continue.
Yep.
Aaron Judge, throw it away. Volpe, throw it away because guess what? That's a hard play for the shortstop going to his right, and Jazz Chisholm is not a third baseman playing third base. There's still not a run scored. There's 2 outs. Anthony Rizzo's hit the ball against Mookie. Not only does Rizzo not charge, that's not fine, but that's one thing. I love Garrett Cole. He assumes that Garrett's making the play and does not cover the bag.
Yep.
This goes as much on Garrett Cole as it does Anthony Rizzo, as it does Anthony Volpe, as it does Aaron Judge.
Yep.
That inning could have been out of it. Then Garrett continues to pitch and pitches 120 pitches.
Oh my gosh.
Where was that in game 1?
That's what I was going to say. I think it was 108, but
whatever.
But it was over 100. But that's
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because
110, whatever.
Yeah, it was just about
Where
110.
was that?
That's what I was going to say. Is you can't. And I get, again, this is now, you get to that situation where it's must win. But again, you can't must win. Like, you have to win every game. But again, if Garrett Cole looks at you and says, I'm at 88 pitches, I can still pitch a couple, I can pitch to 95, I can pitch to 100, you let him go. He's Garrett Cole. He's your best pitcher by a mile on that team. But I agree.
And then theoretically, to feed into your argument, Aaron Judge makes that catch.
It's a totally different
He's
ending.
Still rolling.
It's a totally different ending. And yes,
the inning's over.
Yeah, probably. I mean, obviously you don't know that, but I would agree with you. I would say yes. There's no reason why you'd say anything else. But the thing that I would say is yes, Aaron Judge's is on him. That's a terrible. I mean, you can't be taking your eyes off the ball in the World Series.
Yeah.
Volpe's, I'm with you. I think that's a super tough play. I think Chisholm should make that play, but again, that's a hard play. It's a hard play to make. Rizzo's and Cole's, I'm with you again. I think both players just thought the other player was going to do what they're supposed to do, and neither of them did, and it just kind of screwed everything up. I also give a ton of credit for Mookie Betts because most players in that situation are walking down the line.
Not going to be running the first.
He was sprinting to make that play interesting, if anything, and obviously he beat them all out. Mm-hmm. But I think you're right. I think it was after game 2 was where it just kind of fell apart.
Yeah. Did you guys hear what the scouting report the Dodgers had was?
I've read this, but I forgot. I read this, but it was like make the Dodgers make mistakes or something.
The Yankees.
Or make the Yankees field.
Make the Yankees field.
It
was literally
just so many errors throughout the series.
That 5th inning is a microcosm of what this season and this team has looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't know if it's Boone and the coaching staff. I don't know if it's the players in the places that they're not supposed to be. I don't know what to point at, but if Juan Soto is not a part of this team next year, and Aaron Boone is the manager again, which looks like it's going to be.
That's what I was going to say this.
And there's not significant change in fundamentals and the organization and the way that they look at things.
Yeah,
they need to miss the postseason so that Boone loses his job. We need to do something dramatic.
Well, and it's so both of those things I was going to ask you because rumors are that who's your owner? It's not Cashman.
Steinbrenner.
He has said that the salary that the cap that you guys were at this year is not sustainable, which is probably not true. He probably just is a little greedy, which is fine.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to spend $700 million on Soto.
Yeah, that's the thing is if he's saying that now, the likelihood, in my opinion, would be better for the Yankees. In all honesty, and I get Juan Soto's a generational talent. I'm not disagree with that. Would be to let him walk and go get more pieces elsewhere with that money. But that was going to be my question is, I thought Aaron Boone was, I probably would have given him a C- throughout the entire postseason. Like he was not a manager that looked like he was confident in a lot of his decisions. Mm-hmm. He made a lot of really big question mark decisions. And obviously we can look at that and judge that. And in the time, Cortez could have 1, 2, 3 and won the game. It could have happened, whatever. But he never has felt like, I guess what I would consider like a Yankees manager. I feel like he's just missing
like a
something.
Joe Torre.
Yeah, and I just don't feel like the
guy.
players respect him. I don't feel like there's a lot of like I was thinking that after this.
So that's where they do. He's a player's manager.
Sure.
He is put there by the front office because he listens to Brian Cashman in the front office of what they want to do, of who they want to play. And Aaron Boone is a very player-friendly manager. The players love Aaron Boone, and that's part of the issue.
Yeah.
And everyone loves Aaron Boone. I love him. He's part of Yankees history for his single moment is why he has his job by his side. For his single moment is why he has his job. I love him. He's great. But you're the team manager, not their friend.
Yeah, 100%.
Somebody needs to say, guys,
there's a fine line
Field the damn ball.
Yeah,
100%. Field the ball.
Well, if you want, I know there's a guy called Scott Service who's available. He's really
fantastic.
Good manager.
He'll make sure you don't get to the postseason for sure.
But again, I'm with you. I think obviously there were some players that just didn't show up. I think Torres, Soto, and Stanton were very, very, very good. Volpe and Rizzo were both solid enough. I don't think they had enough like clutch hits, but they were making the Dodgers work. Volpe did. Yeah, I guess that's true. He got the home run.
Volpe saved the season.
Judge, Chisholm, Wells, and Verdugo were it's like I don't even know if they knew how to play baseball. All 3 of them, or 4 of them, excuse me.
Wells did have the home run.
And so to me, again, Judge had a home run, but to me,
all 3 of them, every player you just said hit a home run in game 4.
But to me,
game 5. I'm sorry.
You look at this,
or no, 4 or 5.
4 and 5.
Wells hit 1 and 4.
Yeah, 4.
Wells hit 1 and 4.
Yep.
The other 2 hit the 1 and 5. They went back to back.
But still, to me, I look at this, and I know you don't. There's not a lot of times you see a lot of like roster or lineup changes in the postseason, but this this team needed to, in my opinion, be moved around because the players that were getting on base, like Soto and Torres, should have had Judge and then Stanton come after him. Chisholm needed to move out of, like, he needed to move to 8-9 to put the hot bat of Stanton, who's literally in fuego all freaking postseason, to that maybe even in front of Judge because Judge is just struggling. Put him at 3-4 to then really allow Soto and Torres to get on base and then make something happen of it. I think that was a missed opportunity.
There was talks and questions of that.
Which
talks and questions of that.
And I think that's interesting.
They wanted to. They asked Boone, have you thought about
changing it,
swapping Judge and Giancarlo? Put Giancarlo in the 2 hole.
Yeah.
Or the 3 hole, sorry.
Yeah, 3 hole.
The 3 hole, I mean, the 3.
Yeah.
And put Judge back in the 5. Leave Jazz where he's at.
Sure.
If you want to play, because again, back to the nerds and the analytics and all this
left,
and that.
right, left, left,
if you look,
that, yeah.
It's every single game.
Yeah.
It's every single game. One game they broke it, went right. They did put Judge or Giancarlo behind Judge or something. They did something one game, or did they go Wells Jazz? They backed up 2 lefties and 2 righties at some in one of the series, or maybe when they pinch hit. I don't know. At some point they were, but for the most part,
it was
they
game,
go left, right, left, right.
It was game 3. They had it was Torres, Soto, Judge, Stanton, Chisholm. But like to me, that's interesting because obviously, to me, like if you go 2 games, and obviously, yes, you're on the road. You've got every other excuse under the sun for it, which is fine. They're not excuse or whatever, but everything against you. You have to make a change coming back to New York. Like, you have to do something different because, like you said, if you can't win 2...
heartbreak loss in game 1, and then a convincing win in game 2.
And if you can't win either of them, that's fine. Obviously, that's what's supposed to happen if you're going to be like, oh, yeah, it's supposed to go 2, 3, 2, whatever. You have to do something game 3 to win that game. Like you don't, that to me, game 3 is now the make or break in this situation to where they obviously lost, which then I was like,
because they ran into Walker Buehler, who for some reason in the World Series,
he was unreal.
That was I think it was pretty sure I mentioned him when we had talked about it before that he's going to be that pitcher to watch because you knew
did talk about it.
They had Yamamoto.
I think he was game 4 actually, wasn't he? No,
he pitched in game 3.
No,
it was game 3.
No,
and then pitched in game 5.
I saw him,
but he was dominant.
Very good. Yeah,
I saw Walker. I saw him come on and win the World Series. I didn't see him.
But so it's just interesting. Obviously, I think the Dodgers definitely had more firepower.
Yeah.
Just kind of statistical, up and down the roster. But I just think that a 5-game series, and like Sam was saying, they were close games. But I never felt like I was like, okay, this like.
No, it always felt like
both teams just kind of exploded for a couple runs and then they just went quiet. Like that's just kind of how the series felt. So
I just think that game 1 deflated the Yankees.
I think they were gassed
because I think that's fair.
Yeah. It goes back to there, deflates it because the fan fiction we were walking. I took the train in and out on games 4 and 5. I was talking to. We were all Yankee fans.
Yeah.
You win game. Just hear us out as fans with a different manager in our dreams since we haven't been here in 15 years. Even think back to how Girardi would have managed this team, or how Torre would have managed this team. These are the managers I remember. There's a world where you win game 1, and no one can argue that. There's a world where you win game 1.
The whole series has
and
now
then
changed.
there's a world where you win game 5.
100%. Yeah, game 5 was catastrophic.
We're sending this back to LA up 3 games to 2.
Yeah, it's a totally different game.
This goes back to mismanagement and miscoaching.
Yep.
I don't believe it's the players in place. I believe the players in place are okay. They need to be coached better and get their heads out of their rear end.
Well, and I agree, and I think that goes both ways because if a player is struggling like Judge, and again, it's hard to move Judge. He's a superstar. He can change a game literally on a swing of a bat. But as a manager, you have to look at it and go.
That's your job, though, is to know when you have to move those
look
players.
at it, and like I said it with
feel.
Yeah, exactly. And I said it with like the Mariners fair when Julio was struggling at the beginning of the season, and it took Scott Service like a month and a half to be like, okay, Julio, you suck. We're putting you down to bat 7, and it's like, yeah, that sucks because Julio is our main guy. But you also have to be like, he's not playing well. We can't have him get more reps than someone else like a Rizzo or a Volpe or whoever who's actually hitting the ball 250 and above this series. Like, I get it. We need Judge to heat up, but he's not. So as a manager, you do have to make that tough call. And then when it goes back and you go back and you still lose the games and Judge is batting seventh, then you go, hey, he struggled all series. This was what we thought going forward. We looked at some stats and we just figured we wanted to get the guys that were hitting the ball, more chances to hit the ball. How can you argue with that? That to me is such a stupid thing to be like, oh no, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But I agree. I honestly, when Boone was hired, I was still always kind of like, weird one. Not what I expected the Yankees to do. I don't think he's been bad, but obviously as a Yankee, like you've said multiple times, it's literally World Series or bust. That is our season. It doesn't matter. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's the reality that, there's teams like that, like the Boston, the Dodgers right now, probably the San Diegos and the Yankees really are like, we are in world, and maybe the Braves, we're in World Series or bust mode. And that's just the way it is. And I don't think Aaron Boone has lived up to that. I don't think you fire him off of this year because he went to the World Series. I think next year he's going to be on a hot seat depending on what happens. But I think
he was supposed to be a free agent this year, though. I think we extend him now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I would probably give him a 3 year.
I could be wrong on that.
When it wasn't, to me, it was interesting because it really wasn't like the Dodgers had any players that went crazy.
Well, Freddie Freeman had 4 home runs.
Freeman was like, just incredibly clutch.
Ridiculous.
Otani was fine.
You
obviously,
have a team option for 2025, so they're going to pick it up, I believe. Sure,
yeah, and that's where I would say that's where this is his not make or break, but I think you say
a little bit of
you need to at least get us to whatever the second.
I just don't even think I don't think he even deserves to get the option picked up.
Yeah, I can agree,
but I mean, whatever.
It's a tricky situation.
Yeah, but puppet coming in after him.
Yeah, but again, to me, it wasn't like the Dodgers really I don't want to say outperformed you guys. Otani obviously got injured.
Otani was a non-factor.
Otani wasn't a factor.
Yeah,
Judge and Otani canceled each other out.
Yeah, literally. So Otani had a couple more hits, but really wasn't anything special.
They were both as productive.
Yeah, they were both
canceled each other
very
out.
Boring. Betts was.
It was Freddie,
Betts,
Giancarlo, Mookie, Volpe, Soto.
Yeah. Teoscar was good.
Yeah.
Teoscar.
And Edman was really good for the Dodgers also.
Edman, take Teoscar even out of that. It's Mookie,
Yeah. Well, Edman, Kike, and Teoscar. Teoscar had the clutch home run.
That was clutch. I think I actually did be able to watch
Kike
that.
Kike was very, very good. Edman was just a base hitting machine.
Dude, Freddie.
But Freddie was obviously.
Well, having a healthy Freddie Freeman was so clutch for the
healthy.
Dodgers.
He wasn't even healthy.
Well, like 75%.
100%.
But compared to where he was in the postseason before, he wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So
he definitely was.
4 straight games to the home run.
The Yankees, and I mean, I love Freddie Freeman. I hated him. Yankee fans hated him this year.
Yeah, I agree with you. You can't hate him. He's just such a nice guy. He's like a clean baseball player.
I felt bad when people were booing. I watched everyone boo. I mean, in Tallahassee as a Knoll, as supporting the Braves, I didn't hate the Braves.
Yeah.
As much as the Yankees and Braves don't love each other, but I didn't hate the Braves. I have a lot of friends that are Braves fans. Like, I have a soft spot for Freddie, but man, did he kill us? And I knew he was gonna.
He just lit you guys to shreds.
Otani, I was right. I was happy that I was wrong about him. He didn't hurt us too much when he was an Angel, when he would come to the Bronx. In the back of my head, like, it was saying, like, hey, he's not going to be that good. He's not going to be that good. But the fan was like, oh, he's going to kill us. Like, he's going to kill us.
We're going to die here. This is it.
It goes back to Boone. I think he was mismanaged. There's situations where you pitch around Freddie or you put him on base, and instead he takes you yard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's instances where you pitch around him and you take your chance with Teoscar with a righty on the mound.
100%.
Why are we pitching to Freddie, who's already beaten you in game 1, the game you were supposed to win? Now you're going to let him beat him in game. Now you're going to let him beat you in game 2, and in game 3, and in game 4. You hit 4 games home run in a row.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. I agree.
There's situations where you don't give him a pitch to hit.
Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. You just walk him, or you just.
And that goes back to Boone.
Yeah.
Hold up to 4. They called it now. It's up to the manager. Hold it to 4.
Yeah.
One time, concede.
Yeah.
Maybe it's different.
Yeah.
Could be.
Totally could be. You're totally right. I mean, there's so many woulda, coulda, shoulda.
They do it to Judge all the time. Give it back. Like, it happens to us all the time. Time to do it back.
And to
Judge, Otani, Soto, it has happened.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm not disagreeing with you. Now, my only other question I have, unless Sam has anything, was Otani obviously has now won a ring. Yeah. He is at 7 years, so we all know he'll be a Hall of Famer at 10. He's got to play 10 years to be a Hall of Famer. where would you put him all time? Because obviously that was a big question, was with the Angels. He was like, yeah, he's superstar. He's top 10. He's this, he's that. He needs a ring. Now, obviously, yes, did he go to a super team, whatever? I don't care. He won a ring.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where do you think he's kind of starting to land now on that all-time type of list? Obviously, he didn't pitch this year. He'd still had a historic, whatever, 60, what was it, 60-60?
60, 50-50.
50-50.
Yeah.
Whatever it was,
created
almost
the
60-60. Yeah, he created it and almost had 60-60 or whatever.
Yeah.
Where do you think you rank him? Because I always have interesting takes on these things.
You're asking me?
We'll go Sam first.
Or Sam?
I feel like, honestly, just too early. But if he plays the way he has the rest of his career and then has a slight downgrade like most players do, I think he has a chance to crack top 5.
Okay.
Like realistically, just with having pitching and hitting, that's just unbeatable as far as statistical significance. But right now, I think if he were to retire today, I don't know if he gets past top 30.
Okay.
But I really do think he has a really, really good shot, especially if he won a Cy Young. He's already top 5 after that season because no one's ever done that.
Okay.
That's kind of where I think, because no one's ever going to do that again. I mean, nobody ever thought there'd be another Babe Ruth, and kind of there is right now. So
yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, obviously, so if I give you I'll just give you the top 10 according to ESPN.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Or give you top 15 to give you kind of an idea for you, Nick, as well. Top 15, ESPN, not me. They have Trout at 14 or 15, Greg Maddux
all
14.
time.
Yeah, all time. So that's what I'm saying. So don't come after me. This is ESPN. Don't come after me. Greg Maddux at 14, Junior Ken Griffey Jr. to 13, Honus Wagner. Pedro Martinez at 11, Stan Musial at 10, Walter Johnson at 9. He's obviously early 90s. Yeah, super. Barry Bonds at 8, Mickey Mantle 7, Lou Gehrig 6, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb 4, Hank Aaron 3, Willie Mays 2, and Babe Ruth 1.
Barry Bonds should be higher, honestly.
But you're not going to give him
he's
that
never
because
going to
of
get
the
higher.
steroids. Yeah,
but if you look
Where
at his,
did you say Bonds was?
He's 8.
And he's behind Shohei's nowhere near
Mantle, Gehrig,
right now.
Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that a full list or you have a partial list in front of you?
I have a top 25 list.
Is Pete Rose on that list?
No. And he's probably a top 5 player.
Pete Rose is probably in that. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead, and I love this question and I love this topic, and we could do an entire pod on this topic.
Yeah, same. I think I could
for sure.
I'm gonna null and void your entire question.
Okay.
Because I don't know how I feel about Shohei Ohtani right now.
Okay.
I admit, hands down, he is potentially one of the top 2, maybe 1 greatest players of all time.
Okay.
He's on the trajectory to do that, with the ring or not, super team or not.
Sure, 100%.
I believe as a pitcher, he does it for another couple years, and then he goes at it hitting. I believe he's a Hall of Fame hitter in himself.
Yep.
I believe, take the pitching out of it, he's still a Hall of Famer if he can do what he's done for however many more years.
It's fair.
I will give him all that. I was at one point a huge Shohei Ohtani fan.
I wonder what changed.
Yeah.
Right now, I promise you, hand up right now, I had this opinion probably a year ago.
Sure.
Not the World Series.
Yeah.
Not when we played them. I don't know how I feel about the entire sports gamble.
That's fair.
Yeah. Is a generational athlete. I think he's one of the greatest of all time, and I need to preface everything I'm saying with that.
Yeah.
Pete Rose was also that.
Yeah.
Pete Rose bet on the team he played for and managed.
Yeah.
How do we know that Shohei Ohtani was not doing that?
Yeah, 100%.
Just because his interpreter took the fall for it because he didn't understand. We know Shohei understands English. He's a very smart guy.
Yeah,
he knew what he was doing. They knew how to get around it. The guy took a bullet for him, and that's that.
Fair.
But he should be blackballed. There's a world where if Shohei Ohtani is not Shohei Ohtani, if the same story is connected to I don't know. Give me a player.
Chris Taylor. From
I don't even know.
Yeah, anyone else.
Chris Taylor. Give me.
He's gone.
I don't know another MVP if they try to do something. He is gone.
Yeah, and I agree
The
with you
amount
to
of
that.
money that is on the
Yeah.
line with him internationally, domestically, everything what they think he can be for the game. I don't.
insane.
They can't afford it. They can't
Yeah.
afford it. But now at the same time, he needs to give back to this sport. He can't be like just doing your commercials and disappearing. Like,
Sure.
he needs to show up and start doing some camps. He needs to start doing some stuff back here. I think, or I mean, back in LA. Maybe he does stuff with kids in Japan. Like,
Yeah, I think he does do a lot of things in
I-
Japan, growing it internationally.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
But I would also hope you look past some of that and maybe do stuff with Americans who are also
Sure.
Yeah.
huge fans
Yeah,
of yours.
and I think that
And-
obviously you kind of hit the nail on the head with that issue, and I agree with you because I hate, like, I will never say Barry Bonds is a top 5 player because of his cheating.
But he should be.
Dude,
but
he-
he was unreal, and I get it. Like, people walked him with the
But he's
bases
on
loaded.
that list.
Yeah, and I get it.
Yeah.
He's top 8, and that's
Why
fine.
is Pete Rose not on that list?
That's
He's
what I'm
the
saying.
all-time hits king.
I hate that,
Yeah.
but I also, to me, I will never. I hold my hand forever, and I don't care about Mark McGwire or what's
The
his
thing
head-
is, if you take away his 7 MVP seasons,
doesn't
he's
matter.
still the only person to be in the 300 home run, 300 stolen base club, and the 400 home run and 400 stolen base
100%.
club without his 7 MVP
Sure.
seasons.
but that does not make
That's
him
still a Hall of
that-
Fame player.
I agree with you, but that doesn't make him a top
winning
5.
7 MVPs.
And I
That
agree
is
with that.
wild.
I agree with you.
Did the Astros cheat and win the World Series in
Yeah.
2017?
Yeah, of course they did, and they still have the ring.
So
It happens.
so I agree with that. I don't think if you take away those seasons that he broke every record, you consider him that. But he is still a top 50 player.
Easily.
But I'm
But
not
yeah.
going to say he's a top 5, top 10 player like everyone thinks he is. I will never say that. That's how I stand on it. So I have that same issue with the Pete Rose situation where it's like, yes, I get
Yeah.
what he was betting, but it was against the rules. It is technically cheating. I also look at it a little different where I'm like, it doesn't really affect.
it didn't affect.
It doesn't
anybody.
affect baseball. Like
It only
Barry
made
Bonds.
him wanted to play more.
Yeah, Barry Bonds
Doesn't.
literally was like,
Yeah.
I'm making myself better. And it's, Mark McGwire, I'm making myself better in a certain aspect.
Honestly, I think if Barry Bonds just owned it, it would be better.
I agree with that too, 100%. When he keeps saying to this day, the one thing that I do give Ohtani is the only other player I believe on the top 25 list that pitched and hit is Babe Ruth.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And so
That's-
the fact of the
yeah.
matter is that
Sure.
I think, obviously, I don't think he'll match quite his same stat. I mean, Babe Ruth's slash line's 342, 471,
Yeah.
690 with 714 home runs. His pitching is 94 and 46 with a 2.28 ERA. Like, you're never gonna match that number.
it's impossible.
And then
Different
obviously,
game.
and that's what I was gonna say. People will say, "Oh, well, batters back then were way worse, and half the world was still at war." And blah. It's like, okay, yes, I get what you're saying, but so what? That's the way it was. Like, downtown Freddie Brown for the Sonics would be the leader
respected.
of 3 points if the 3-point line existed. It didn't, so Steph Curry is. Like, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But I agree, and I think it's an interesting question. I think we should have a longer episode on it because I do agree with you, Sam. Like, Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds is unbelievable, but he cheated for 7 or whatever, 9 years.
You
And-
could, something a
and
significant amount
like
of his career.
His
So,
Pirates career was so good, it was amazing. But his San Francisco career, to
I
me,
think
like
even the
just
first couple
tarnished
years
it.
he was in San Francisco, not
Maybe
all of it.
Who knows? It's hard to know because
Well,
no
look
one
at photos and you'll
yeah,
know.
Yeah,
You'll never know,
Look
yeah.
at look at Brett Boone, look at Aaron's brother when he juiced up when he
Yeah.
was
Look at
39.
A-Rod. You would A-Rod.
A Rod's the same way. Like, I'll never say A Rod is a top 20 base. Like, to me,
he
none of
was.
those.
He was, yeah.
I'm sure, but to me, I can't put him in there because I hold firm to the fact that they cheated. They were like any
Roger
of them.
Clemens.
This one right here, he'll never be one of the best second basemen
Nope.
because I
He
look
would've
at
been.
it and I just go,
Cigano.
you
He would have
cheated.
been for sure.
And I just, to me, I
Or
try to hold
Robbie.
firm with that, but to not say that, and that's why like I give a lot more praise, and I'm not trying to be biased, but like to King Griffey Jr.
But then there's Mitch Haniger because just what a fantastic
talking.
outfielder.
Stop
Got
talking.
him back home.
But
The Mariners picked up his
that's why-
$15 million option to make
That's
us
why I
poor.
give someone like a Ken Griffey Jr. a lot more praise because I obviously yes the injuries and whatnot, but he played the game literally as clean as you could from what and no one do we know if Babe Ruth cheated? No. Are we ever gonna know if Babe Ruth cheated? No. And I don't care. Babe Ruth could have been drunk pitching and still probably been that good. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
But the fact that we know
Or
certain people
dudes
have
that
pitches.
tripped and pitched.
Yeah, literally, and they pitch back-to-back games. So, interesting topic. I think we should discuss it later in the off season or whatever, because I think there will be some
Yeah.
good moves, and we'll probably try
For
to
sure.
do some things. But that
That'd be a
is
fun
kind of how
episode.
we're gonna end it. Unfortunately, we're very well. I'm not very sorry because I was very happy that the Dodgers. Not very happy. I wouldn't say very happy. I was happier the Dodgers won. But
yeah.
again, Nick, it was really fun having you on to talk about this. It's very interesting to hear someone who is obviously a Yankee fan, and to hear more of your side of it, because I feel like from the outside we just hear like, I hate the Yankees. The Yankees suck. Screw
Yeah, I
Aaron
don't
Judge.
feel like you really look at Aaron Boone from the
Yeah.
outside perspective, but when you're a Yankees fan, you definitely have that inside
different,
edge.
yeah.
So,
And just
that
with
was
the
cool
whole
to hear.
team, like I think it was fun for the Yankees to see Stanton show up for once. You know, it seems like for been a long time for him to show up.
Playoff G,
And it-
man.
and
Playoff
yeah.
G.
Yeah, literally, and it was crazy. And so, it'll be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, it was like Soto. I mean, that's a lot of money. It's a generational talent, but
I think he's going to stay in New York. Just
But-
going to be the opposite team.
yeah, it's very fair.
I agree. I
don't know.
agree.
I think he's going to go to the Dodgers. To be
I-
honest, knowing
Before
That would
we,
be wild. I
it's
did
ru-
see
it's-
that
it's
rumor.
rumored
Before we
It's supposed
wrap
to be-
up,
Oof.
what's up.
Before we wrap up, I think we should do some quick predictions on that. I mean, I know
Soto?
Sam already just gave his. Yeah.
So, yeah, Mets,
I
for
believe
sure.
Mets.
this is the number we were throwing around. Something around. It was like 575 for like 12 years. I think it breaks down to like 44 million a year.
Something like that. That sounds about right.
I think
I think he's going to be
if-
over 600 personally. But
if so here's my thing. I think that 575 would be the perfect number.
Mm-hmm.
I think he should take that. I think that's feasible for the Yankees to pull off and not hit this so the Yankees are trying not to go over like certain thresholds. There's different
Yeah, the
tiers
luxury
of the
tax.
luxury tax.
Yeah.
So they're trying to stay below a certain point.
Yep. And
I
Stanton's
think
your big
with
killer
what we
right now.
have, with what we're shedding,
Yeah.
what?
Well, Stanton's one of your big killers because you still have him for 3 more years.
Sure.
But yeah.
But I think there's a way that we structure it out that it makes him happy. Maybe we pull an Otani and defer some of this. I
would be
think
big if he did
Garrett
that.
Cole did his whole opt out. Then the Yankees said, go ahead, test free agency. Then he said, wait, maybe I didn't opt out. And they said, okay, yeah, you didn't opt out. Now he's just going to
Yeah, I was so
talk
confused.
about.
So dumb. And now he got an extension. It's like, what the heck just
That
happened
sounds
here?
like what it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think, I honestly think Garrett's going to, I hope, I'm knocking on, I don't have any, anyway. I think, I don't have anyone to knock on.
That was
I don't-
painful to watch.
that was good.
I thought I did. I
like
thought
that.
I did. Anyway, I think he restructures his deal so that way maybe
stays.
we defer some money, so that way we free up some money now. Keep Garrett will. I think as a Yankee fan, if he's truly a Yankee fan like he says he is, give him $1 million a year and defer all of his money. Why not?
Yeah.
That's what Otani's doing.
Yeah.
Let's do the same thing. Garrett will do it.
You would think
Why not?
so.
He's already gotten paid. I
you'd
think
think
Garrett
so.
would do it.
Yeah.
I would think he would do it. And even forget Judge. I mean, maybe down the line, Judge does something similar. But all of a sudden, that frees up so much money.
Yeah.
And that gives
yeah.
the Yankees so many different options. So maybe Garrett pulls something like that. Maybe that's what we need to pull off, putting Soto back there. We
Yeah.
put Soto back there. We make some defensive adjustments. We go out and actually spend some money and attention on pitching.
Yeah. You need
And
some
develop
bullpen
some.
help and, yeah,
We
you need
develop
pitching
some
help.
fielders. We do some pitching. We do some shuffling around there, but still keep the core together. We could have something here. We
Yeah.
still won the American League Championship,
You did.
Yeah.
but I think Soto could. If not, he's going to be a Met because the Mets are going to overpay
So
for
you're
him,
staying in
Yep.
Mets.
and he's going to be a DH in a few years down the line. But
So you
Kellen,
guys,
what do you think?
both have New York. I have pinstripes, but a different pinstripes from both of those.
you say Phillies?
No, I think he's going to the Cubs. I think the Cubs are
that
ready
would
to
be
spend some money. They
crazy.
have the money to do it. Obviously they have to figure out what they're doing, like Bellinger, but they have money. They don't have to keep. Is it Suzuki or whatever? He's, I think, a free agent if they want him to be. He's been fine, but like they can opt out of. They have a lot. They've played their cards really well to be able to opt out of a lot. I
That's
don't know
crazy.
why. I don't think. But the other one that I really want to happen, I know it won't, but I really want him to go back to Washington.
But
I think it's
that
going to
would be cool.
Washington, I think,
But
would be
he
so
did-
fun.
The only thing he said is he wants to be able to win. He
Yes.
wants to be able to win. He wants to
And
be on
so-
a winning team.
Yeah. And so I think,
the
but I think
Phillies
the
are a
Cubs
winning
are.
team.
Yeah, I don't think the Phillies are going to spend.
He
Though.
came
They
up-
have so
enough.
much money.
He came up with the Phillies core.
No, I agree with Turner.
I was
and
talking to
everyone.
a fellow
and
Phillies
Harper.
fan, and he brought that up, and
That
that was
is
a
true.
really good point.
Yeah, I don't know how good
I
a
That
didn't
would
Phillies
be
is
think
with
about
them.
it.
crazy if they all got back
Yeah.
together.
I just don't think that the
Be
the
insane.
Phillies are spending a lot, and I think they're already over there. They're happy
They've
with
spent
their
so much money with Zach
Turner-
Wheeler.
It was Turner, Harper.
Yeah, and then there's there was
Schwarber.
Robles and Schwarber.
No,
Robles.
Schwarber was a Cub, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
He also was a Met or a National.
Yeah, he was
for
a
little bit.
at the very beginning.
I forgot.
No,
Yeah.
it was he got traded or he signed. I can't remember which one, but he played. It was
signed?
1 year. He
I
signed
know
a
he
1
was
year
in
deal
that,
with the
but I don't
Nationals. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
So I
Okay,
thought it was
maybe
longer.
when they were on the World Series run, maybe.
No, I think it was separate from that.
Yeah, he definitely wasn't on the World Series.
yeah.
And then I know Robles was the
But
other one
still.
who came up with that kind of group, but never really blossomed until he kind of came to Seattle. He's been pretty solid. I just think it's going to be. I think the Cubs are just poised to do something. I think they're ready. I think that fan base
I
is
don't think
already
they're winning like that.
itchy. They have the money. It's just whether or not they want to spend it all on one person. The only other team that I think people need to look more for, and I think it's a really dark horse, but it would just piss me off. The Astros. I can see the Astros honestly like moving on from a Kyle Tucker, making a trade, salary dump, trying to
That'd
get
be
rid of him for
crazy.
some draft picks, and then going after a Juan Soto because their window is so small now of winning.
They're going to
with-
lose Bregman.
with you would think.
I'd
And
be
then
shocked if they didn't.
They definitely had like the goodbye, but I think that their window is small without Tuve. Alvarez, if he can stay healthy, is obviously arguably the best hitter in baseball. Their pitching staff is decent enough. Just they were so injured last year. I could see them moving on from a Bregman and even a Kyle Tucker. There's rumors Kyle Tucker might get traded to the Mariners, which won't happen.
I hope.
But,
It'd be so nice.
but
That'd be wild.
It'd be crazy. But like doing a salary dump type of move, I could see them like even like being like, "Hey Yankees, you guys want Kyle Tucker? We'll take some of your prospects and we're gonna snag Soto from you." Like I could see them doing that. But
I would take Kyle Tucker.
well, I agree.
over
I don't. I
Soto.
think that's I don't know about over, but I think that's a fair.
Well, not over,
the value
but
you're
in
getting
a
is fine. Yeah.
In a theoretical where we get Kyle Tucker, who's controllable, can play defense and DH.
Yeah,
and
and-
we would have him for a little while, not be spending on Soto, be
Exactly.
able to
You
go do
could
other
build
things.
other places. I agree.
I wouldn't hate it if we didn't get Soto.
Yeah.
No, I would agree. And
that would-
I just think
If Soto had signed already and then they were looking
Yeah.
to offload Tucker, different.
yeah, and I think the Astros we've known for years they've been willing to spend. They've been one of the top teams in probably since their runs kind of started in the
Yeah.
early 2010s or whatever.
They let Correa walk, and they let Springer
They
walk.
did let Correa and Springer
Those were
walk,
two good decisions, though,
but
honestly.
yeah, I was gonna say they actually worked out. So I think they knew more in the dark web of Houston.
Yeah.
But like they kept players that they needed to keep. Obviously Tucker is a very good player, but and obviously they still have a top farm system. They still just have players that are just coming out of nowhere. They've just done a good job. But I could see
think
them.
there's a world where Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is either an Astro or a Red Sox.
I
So
could
that's
see,
why I don't know
I
if
could see that.
either of those teams spend money on those two guys.
Yeah. Should be interesting, but we will probably have a free agent episode at some point once
yeah.
some free agents have kind of landed to kind of talk through what we think and our thoughts on them. But
Christmas, New Year's time, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll probably
most
New Year's
likely.
or whatever. Yeah,
And then do a spring training one.
That'd be sick,
We'll
yeah.
get some things going, but that is going to wrap up baseball. I'm actually kind of okay with it because I'm kind of depressed
It
with
was a
baseball.
long
Baseball's a
season.
good time, but it should be fun.
I want to do it, but I won't. I want to do it, but I won't.
But Nick, we enjoyed having you. We're glad you were able to
Heck
join
yeah.
us for the playoffs, and hopefully we can do
Thanks
it
for
again.
having me, guys.
We'll do it next year with maybe a couple in the regular season, not every week, but here and there when we can to go over months, and then obviously we'll get you back on for the postseason next year, and we'll keep
Heck
this
yeah.
thing going.
Hell yeah, sounds good, guys. I appreciate it,
Yep.
and it's been fun. Looking forward to it.
Yep,
For
All
sure.
right, Nick, we'll talk to you later, man. Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Bye.
So, yeah. Thanks for listening to the Kinda Athletic podcast. Please like and subscribe to all our social media platforms and make sure to come back next week to hear more from the Kinda Athletic podcast.